This video is to tell you about our work last year in 2024 on meaningful change for functional abilities in CDKL5 deficiency disorder. Hello, my name is Dr. Jenny Downs from the Kids Research Institute, Australia. This work is a collaboration between IFCR, the CDKL5 Clinical Readiness Study, the Inchstones Project, and us at the Kids. So why did we do this study? With advancements in precision medicines, clinical trials are on the horizon. We have new knowledge about how to measure function and health in CDD. Much of that comes from our clinical trial readiness study. But it is also important to identify what improvements in their child's health and function that parents would see as meaningful. By understanding first-hand perspectives, we can better measure outcomes that truly matter to families. As well as better measurement, we can better understand what the scores mean. Understanding meaningful change will tell us how to interpret the results in trials, and we can explain the results to regulatory bodies such as the FDA. We had two aims. First, we aimed to explore how parents of children with CDD understand the concept of meaningful change. Second, we asked about parents' views on meaningful change in a survey, and we sought to understand how they might vary across different domains of functioning, including communication, gross and fine motor skills, and feeding, and by different levels of ability. And in this presentation, I am using the word child because a child is always their parent's child, irrespective of age, but very clearly in our sample, we are referring to both children and adults. We did two things. We did a workshop and an online survey. The workshop was conducted at the Keep Rocking Cleveland conference in June 2024. And we worked with parents in small groups, discussed various questions with a facilitator, and explored in detail what is meaningful change. Secondly, and in parallel, we conducted a survey online. 80 parents participated. 85% of their children were female, nearly half had some or all nutrition through a G-tube, and 20% could walk independently. We asked parents to describe what meaningful change would be for their child in the different functional ability domains of communication, gross motor, fine motor, and feeding. We coded that open text and into codes for meaningful change, and we grouped the codes by different ability levels. So first, what is meaningful change? In this diagram, the people are the community. The ruler is showing us measurement of change. The green lines are showing different amounts of change, and the blue is showing us different rates of change or speed of change. And incidentally, in the workshop, the most commonly discussed domains were communication, seizures, and behaviour. So, as you can see by that variation in those green and blue lines, parents shared very diverse perspectives on what meaningful change meant for their child. For example, some families found very small improvements would be very meaningful to them. For others, they hoped for much larger steps, that big long green line. Others wanted very substantial and fast progress, and for others, ongoing and consistent changes over time were the most valuable. An important concept in this workshop was the concept of stability. Families emphasised that maintaining their child's existing skills and abilities were just as significant as achieving new skills, and the importance of that stability, that maintenance of health status and functional abilities, would mean there would be less strain for the child and the family and easier day-to-day living and planning. This is new information that expands our current definitions of meaningful change. So our findings for each of the domains revealed unique and shared perspectives across domains and also within domains for different ability levels. For example, unique meaningful change codes often described something that was a skill or something that was achieved, a mode or a method. For example, more non-verbal communication methods, or using words, or learning to sit or learning to walk. There were also common codes across domains and also across ability levels, and these referred to the purpose of what was being achieved, its meaning. And as an example, this might be explained as improved utensil use, not just hand skills, but the ability to use utensils during eating, more independence for the child, more safety with less falls, for example, and better quality of life. So here is the example of gross motor. You can see our 3 levels of ability. Children who could sit and walk, there were 17. Children who could sit but not walk, there were 49. And children who could not sit or could not walk. And in the middle, you can see the a summary of those codes. For example, for children who could sit and walk, parents described refinement of those skills and more use of their gross motor skills in daily living. For the children who could sit, or the children who couldn't sit or walk, the codes described improvement, development, or regaining skills. And for children who could not sit or walk, the codes also described improvements in strength and posture. Across all of the levels, there were commonalities that related to achieving more motor independence, being able to engage with others and with the environment, and more safety, for example, fewer falls. So what does this mean? Parents have provided us with a very rich and nuanced understanding of what meaningful change is in CDD, and it really explains the many complexities associated with CDD. We now better understand community needs, and these insights help us to identify the essential ingredients that we need to know that we have a good measure for evaluating meaningful change, in clinical and daily life contexts. The future holds exciting opportunities. We are in preparation for a publication to publish these findings. We also will be able to explore how to apply this foundational information that has been provided to how we interpret change on the current scales. And there also might be some ideas that you in the community would like us to apply, and we would love to hear about that too. So thank you very, very much. We thank you all for your contributions to both the workshop and the survey. We thank IFCR for being with us from the generation of this study right through to now, to where we have findings to present back to you, and we thank you all for listening. Thank you.